Thank you so much. I know I'm the only thing probably standing in your way of going home this afternoon, so I'll try and make this quick, but I like talking about learning. So it's good to be with y'all this afternoon, and so we just look forward to our time together. They asked me to speak on, just what does the future look like for talent development, specifically related to, our technician workforce, and then again our operator workforce, and just what can we do to maybe change the narrative related to those things, right? Because if I'm not sure of exactly where everybody falls in the room, but most owners of whatever are suffering. It's hard to find skilled labor anymore, or somebody who can just do the basic task on our job, and so we just want to talk through that this morning or this afternoon. And, if you have questions along the way, don't feel bad to stop me and ask me, but we'll try and make this as short as possible. So what we want to do today is just talk about operator and technician recruitment and retention. That's right now my primary focus. We're doing a lot around that area just to try and bring in people. And so that looks different, and it will look different tomorrow than it did today, and it's different than what we've ever experienced in the past. And so how do we navigate through some of those things? We'll talk about AI a little bit, because that seems to be what's the latest and greatest that everybody's talking about. And will AI help us anyway, or will technology help us in any way solve some of these problems? Talk about just how do we leverage the state government and our local governments to help with funding and these initiatives to help grow our workforce. And then last, just talk about competency-based skills program and a learning ecosystem for all of our environments today. So with that, the need. Right now, if we could hire 100 qualified technicians, if we could find them, we would definitely hire them because those types of roles and responsibilities aren't out there anymore. We have so many. We're doing so many things just to try and bring in talent, and that pool of labor is really drying up from this. It used to be you could go out and you could hire a technician that had some skills and he could turn wrenches and all that stuff, and those people are gone. That pool's dried up. And it's really the same thing for our operator. Do you see an operator that says, "Hey, I'm leaving and I'm going over here"? That's gone. And so we've got to think about that. I found some interesting statistics. Starting in 2022, operators, approximately they're expecting just from growth of the business in our application of approximately 50,000 jobs per year for heavy equipment operators. And that's compounded year over year for the next 5 years. And so when we look at it from that perspective, there is already a shortage. What are we going to do about it? Technicians, approximately 25,000, just in growth over the next, through the next decade is what this one article said, that, there's going to be that shortfall. But think about everybody in your organization that's retiring, or, they might get injured or something like that. That just compounds on top of that number, and we're already at a crisis level need for these types of positions. And then, another thing that we're seeing is skills gap. Not sure, again, of the audience and where your background is or why you're here, but I know for our organization, the people that come to us have about a high school level education, or maybe even less than that. And, they've learned a lot through YouTube, they've learned a lot through online stuff, but they never have turned a wrench. I had a guy that for one of our technician programs that we recruited. And when we sat down and did the interview with that guy, amazing. Rebuilt an engine in his truck, put it back in, made it run, all that good stuff. He said all the right things to be an apprentice level technician, and come to find out when we hired him, he didn't really have those skills. And where did he learn everything? He learned it on YouTube, right? So we're seeing this skills gap in the high schools, in our local governments, or our career centers, our community colleges. They're doing a lot of good work in these spaces to try and get kids interested in skills trade. but they're just not there, and they're not doing enough, so to speak. So, that's a huge thing for us, is trying to find the right people that have the right training, and how do we influence that. Next is just, I don't know if you ever go to a career fair or a career, just a hiring event, but you can watch people now. They come in and they make the loop, so to speak. And they'll come to my table. It doesn't matter what I'm trying to recruit for. They'll come to my table, first thing out of their mouth, how much are you going to pay me? Then you can just follow them around the room, and how much are you going to pay me? And whoever is paying the most wins. And when they go to that job and they get tired of it, you'll see them again. And so there's this whole thing that there is a recruitment war out there right now of just trying to find good, qualified people that want to do our type of work. I mean, if you think about it from our perspective, we don't have people just beating down our doors that want to be diesel technicians. And I think back to when I was growing up, I knew in the 10th grade I wanted to be a diesel technician. I'd already signed my papers to go to a school. I was ready to go. I was ready to be a diesel technician. We don't experience that today. Somebody, if they're a senior in high school, they kind of make up their mind maybe a month or two before graduation, and then they find where they can go. So that environment's changing a little bit. And then, just from an overall competition perspective, I work with Caterpillar, but think about how many competitors we have, and there's a war right there that's taking place. Just, hey, I can go to Deere. I can go, wherever I want to go, and I can, they'll pay me more. And really what that's doing to an organization or an association as a whole is just creating a larger gap. And so, one of the questions is, how do we as a group of people that have one common theme and need, how do we solve that problem? And really it's by working together as a group to say, hey, let's put training programs in place, and let's do the right stuff. Let's talk the same language. And then let's just try and build this up to create a pool of people or a pool of talent to stop this shortage that we have. So that's where we're all at. Just to poll the room, are y'all experiencing the same things? What are you seeing out there that is compounding on everything that we're talking about? Anybody? Same thing, right? It's everybody's there. So first question that always comes up when I get in a conversation is, what's technology going to do about it? Will AI replace a diesel technician? No, it won't. So AI is not going to do it for us. But the question I want to really ask is, how does it influence what we do with operator training and what we do with technician training in the future? I listen to a lot of podcasts on AI. It's just my thing that I do right now. And over again, they constantly say, AI will not replace the worker, but what it will do for us in the future is it'll make us more efficient. It will help us empower people, train people faster and faster and faster. I was at a conference back in the fall, I guess, and we were in there, and they were showing us this new technology that they have as part of our learning management system. And the guy said, hey, I want to create a course on public speaking. And so he put it in their chat bot, and he wrote the right code or wrote the right prompt for it. And in less than 3 minutes, the guy created a professional development class around public speaking. It was an avatar of him. You really couldn't tell any difference, and it was ready to train people. So what we have to be doing is thinking about, how do we harness that type of technology to create content faster than we ever have before, to train a workforce that there's such a huge need for right now. So it won't ever replace it, but it will certainly help us. And the more we can embrace that technology and leverage that towards our need, the better off and more efficient we're going to be in the end. So we always just say that, and more people are just talking that same language. When we talk about how does AI help us recruit people, we get all of these resumes, and how do we filter through and find the right person? We were playing around with one of the AI technologies, and we were looking for a certain position. So we took 50 resumes and just dumped them in the chat bot and said, hey, pick our top 3 candidates. And in 3 seconds, we had our top 3 candidates and we're ready to make a phone call. So it's that, using that kind of technology that can just speed up the whole process of finding these skilled laborers that we can definitely harness. So what's the key to success? What do we want to do? How can we do this as a group of people? Well, it starts by collaboration. If you are familiar with Blanchard, you know we have our values that we live by, and one of those is collaborating, just coming to the table, talking about it as a group, and then going forth with a plan. So what's our plan? Technical school and industry partnerships, right? State and local government, there's so much funding out there now for apprenticeship type roles, and just so much funding and so much help that comes from the government in order to do stuff like this, that having that strong partnership wherever you go is critical. Now I think Midlands Tech, they have simulators there where they can train people how to run heavy equipment. And you know what, some of what we're concerned about is how's that impact our budget? Well, do you know today a technician can go to school at one of our local community colleges, or an operator can go to one of our community colleges for almost $0 tuition? And that's huge for our industry. So, how do we leverage more of that to help our association, or help our backgrounds, or help our companies find qualified people? And so this is a real big space for us. We're doing this through our local apprenticeship program that's registered through the South Carolina Apprenticeship Office. And there's a lot of funding when you do that that just brings another leverage point to us to be able to train people and hire qualified people. And then OEM support. It's our responsibility as OEM suppliers to our customer to help and do a solution, or offer a solution for where that short gap is, or shortfall is in our technician world or our operator world. And we're doing a lot of cool stuff right now. Just one of the things that we do for one of our large customers is we have 18 apprentice technicians that Blanchard is training for one of our customers. And we build a career path for them and all that stuff. And so we think it's part of our solution to the industry to help with this shortfall of technicians, that we're coming to the table as a solution for our customers. And I think over the next few years, you're going to see a lot of that take place and grow, because it's just, that's what we should do as an OEM supplier. Our mission statement is we're a values-driven business, bringing the best products and talents and solutions to every experience. And so we live that by coming up with a solution for this big problem that we all have. So there's that out there. And then within our organization, having an apprenticeship or a mentorship type program, at our organization, we have 61 people that are going to retire in the next 5 years. 61 people, and that's just heavy equipment technicians. We have 61 heavy equipment technicians that are going to retire in the next 5 years. And with that, why is somebody not working with them right now to leverage what that person knows? That's the key to the future. It costs us something, and it impacts our budgets and all that stuff. But there's a transfer of knowledge that takes place where a young guy is working beside an older technician, and that older technician is just pouring everything into that younger technician to help them be successful. And so if we're going to do this right in the future, what we have to start doing now is taking these young people and putting them with our most experienced operators, sitting there learning how to operate a paver, operate a compactor, or whatever that looks like. But just really leveraging that partnership or that knowledge that you have inside your organization. And then we're going to talk more about this at the end, but build a career path. When I first came back to Blanchard, that's one of the first things I did, is I built or restructured our technician training program. Because here, and I don't know if you've ever done this at your organizations, but I did it at mine. I walked out in our shops one day, or I just ride around and I visit one of our branches, and I said, all right, if tell me how you get your next increase. Tell me how you get your next raise. And here's the responses I got. I don't know. Here's what I do. I work harder. I do everything that my supervisor tells me I need to do. I work harder. I perform. I work overtime. I show up on time. I do all of this stuff. And year after year after year, I don't get any money. Or when it comes to inward mobility within your company, somebody coming out of a technician role into a sales job, you have to think about all those things. And so we've designed a whole internal structure of how somebody can move within the organization, and we've tied it to their wages. So as they move, as they learn, as they grow, they have the opportunity to earn a higher wage. They have an opportunity to be who they want to be. When I grew up, and I'm really telling my age, when I grew up, a diesel technician was a diesel technician until they couldn't walk anymore. Or they couldn't, their back hurt so bad that they couldn't do the job anymore. And that's not the case. What we're finding is that the most that you can probably get out of a technician is 10 years, and they want to do something else. So you have to leverage that 10-year, that 15-year span, and you have to be ready for them to move within the organization, because guess what? If you don't, they will look somewhere else. They will find another job that will give them that opportunity. So we're trying to make that as visible as possible within our organization. We're trying to make it very public. This is how you do this. Perform. This is how you can earn more money. And this can be your lifelong career. You don't have to go anywhere to earn a career. So employee-backed certifications, we're doing some of that. And then just a clear career path. What does it look like for an operator to go out there and operate a paver? But how does that operator become a foreman? How does that operator move to the next level and the next level? You have to show that. That's what a lot of kids are asking for now. So having that visible and just working together to establish those things. So my boss always says this, and I've given him credit today because he never gets any credit. I wish he was here. I would like a copy of the recording just so I can say I acknowledged him in my presentation. But he says the best time to start training people was 3 years ago. The next best time is right now. So the farther we push this training thing or this growth down the road, the farther behind we're going to be as an organization or as a company or as an industry, the farther behind we're going to be in those areas. And so the best time to train somebody or create this growth plan or this incentive inside your organization is right now. This is going to be our crisis. Because what happens if we run out of diesel technicians at Blanchard Cat? That's not good at all. What happens if you can't have an operator show up and operate the paver or the compactor? All of those things. So we have to think differently about that. And the best time to do that is right now. So just best practices. Try and attract the best talent. How do you do that, right? Even though we have to consider everybody, be selective on who you hire. We started this, our Blanchard Blueprint, which is our competency-based careers program for diesel technicians. So now we just don't hire any diesel technician that walks in off the street. We evaluate, we look at, and I heard this the other day, one of our recruiters told me this out of a book, that when you hire somebody, you want to hire somebody that can do 90% of the job that you're expecting them to do. So when you evaluate your talent or you evaluate somebody coming into your organization, when they come into their organization, unless they're an apprentice or unless they're on that foundation level, they should be able to do 90% of what you're asking them to do. And if they can't, then they're not the best talent. So that's number one. I heard this morning. I kind of added this at the last minute. But create an ecosystem of learning inside your organization. We rolled out what we call the Blanchard Blueprint, which is our competency-based program, to all of our diesel technicians. Can I tell you how hungry all of them got to learn? And you think about it, a diesel technician or an operator, you think, they don't want to know anything. That's false. Every day I get email after email after email. I've done my training. What's next? Give me my plan. I can pull up my email box. I got an email from a technician out of the upstate earlier this morning. I've done everything that I have. Where's my next plan at? And why hasn't it been assigned yet? I'm ready to go. And so there's this thing out there. There's this absorption of knowledge that they want so that they can make themselves better. So what we have to do is create an ecosystem for how that happens, an internal system of how they grow in our organization. Embed learning into every aspect of what you can do. Micro learning, whether it takes 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever. One thing that we've done for some of our employees, or all of our employees, everybody has access to this, is LinkedIn Learning. And I don't know if you've heard about LinkedIn Learning, but they're doing so much work about just about every subject matter that's in the world right now. And usually their videos are 10, 15, 20 minutes long. So somebody over their lunch break can take out their phone, they can type in any subject that they want to know about, and they can learn something. And the way this flips back around to our organization, if my boss was here, he'd tell you this. He used to work for one of the power companies. They needed an IT coder. Their LinkedIn, their employees' LinkedIn were connected to the companies. So they started looking for this specific type of coder, and they said, hey, there's a lineman at one of our camps. He knows how to code this stuff. So they reached out to him and said, hey, do you want to come into our IT department and become a coder? Absolutely. What does that do for your employees' morale and value? It's incredible what that type of stuff does. What we're learning is the more you can show that you want to invest back in the organization and the people of your organization, the greater your morale is going to be. I wish Boyd Blanchard was in here today. When I first came back to Blanchard and I took this training role, he said, Jason, the number one thing that I want to be known for, the legacy I want to leave, is the investment that I made back, my family makes back into this organization. Number one thing. And when you work in that kind of environment and those types of resources that support are available to you, it's unending to what you can do and accomplish and how you can help just people grow. And it's embedded in every aspect of our organization now. So embed learning. Think about ways you can interact. Think about how do we just teach somebody how to do something different on their own initiative, because if you give it to them, 90% of your organization will do that. Reimagine your pipeline that energizes your current workforce. You know, a lot of what we don't do well is looking at the current workforce that we have in front of us. Those people that have been there 3, 4, 5, 10 years, sometimes we just forget about that they want to grow too. And, we all might have retention or sign-on bonuses. We all might have these things that attract new talent, but what are we doing for our current organization? The people that are out there every day doing the work for us. And so I keep bringing up the Blanchard Blueprint because that was all my job last year. But when we did that, it energized our organization to learn. It energized our retention rate. It energized our people. They got hungry to move forward in the organization and grow. And so if somehow you can do that inside your organization or your company, you will not believe the results that is. I literally had people when I would go and I would sit down with them and I'd say, let's talk about your training. Let's talk about your future. Let's talk about where you want to go and what you want to do. And then at the end of that, when we were able to say, hey, you've done your part, we're going to adjust your wage to a higher level. I had people that cried right in front of me because they said, Jason, I've been here 10 years and I've never seen anything like this. And do you know what this is going to do for my family? It's life-changing. And it energizes people. They will go to war with you now on anything that you want to do. Funny story out of one of our stores. The guy, he had always wanted a food truck. And when we went and sat down with him and we gave him his career path, we adjusted his wage, we did all of those things, the dude actually called me on the phone and he's like, dude, I just want to make sure that this is real because I'm fixing to go buy my food truck. He got hungry. And he's not at the bottom, he's at the top. I had another guy that texted me one weekend. It was months after I had sat down and we had talked about his career and talked about his future and where he's going. And he sent me a picture of a brand new F-250. And he's like, dude, I just want to tell you thank you for what you did for me and my family. And look at my dream. And he sent a picture of the truck. I'm telling you, when you do this kind of stuff, when you rethink how people learn and grow within your organization, and you give them the ability to do that, it will energize your people to work and work very hard to get there. They want to do it. They want to. And then just create clear paths for development. Nobody wants to be an operator. Nobody wants to be a diesel technician all their life. They want to be able to grow within your organization. And if you can help them do that, then it'll change the way your company operates. And it'll change how things get done within your organization. I promise you. And so there's just so much out there in this space right now. My contact information's up here. We have some solutions. I know don't want to sell you anything today or anything like that, but we have solutions for our customers that are out there, and I would love to come sit down with you and buy you lunch, and we could talk about those things, or I'll share our plan with you. Like, hey, this is how we did this for our diesel technician. Here's how we can do this for you, or here's how you can do. I just had a meeting with one of our customers yesterday, and I gave them our plan. I said, this is how we're doing this. Here's how we can help, and they're implementing that. And so, anyway, we just think it's better if we collaborate together and make this thing happen. But that's my contact information. If you want to reach out or shoot me an email, I'd be glad to talk to you. So, any questions or thoughts or comments or? Yeah. Man. All right. Well, I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and look forward to seeing you in the future. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.